Hello students, this is Dr. Patil, your faculty for medicine at Physics Wala Madrid, and along with me today we have a special guest, that is Dr. Jigar Bhanushali, who has dealt with the FMGE and the issues that National Board of Examination creates with the exam process. And we are familiar with all the anxiety and stress that you people are going through. So today, this is a special stream where we will be addressing your queries. We don't have any other agenda. There will be no topic discussion or no clinical medicine discussion, ma'am. Right from the beginning of form filling to other issues like eligibility certificate or any other concerns you have, you can shoot it to us on the comment section, and Dr. Jigar will address those. Okay, so we are open for the comments. Jigar, do you have anything to share with the students before we start taking the comments?
Yes, sir. Good evening, everyone, all the students, upcoming FMG aspirants. So we are here to welcome you, PW Mandate platform. We are open for all the queries regarding upcoming FMG December 2023 or let's say January 2024 session. If you have any doubt related to the upcoming exam form filling process, whether you are eligible, eligibility certificate is not released, please feel free. We are here to address your queries.
Okay, so let us see. Okay, so Parag Kanjaria is asking, what about those students who didn't receive EC yet?
Eligibility certificate, no? There has been a notice from this one NMC, I guess published 2 days back or today only, that they are working on all the applications that have been submitted to them. So sooner or later, you may expect your EC certificate on your email address. Make sure you check your spam box also, because most of the time, I am sharing my personal experience. My eligibility certificate also got released a bit delayed after the form filling process started, and it was in a spam box. So make sure you check your spam box also, because most of the time the eligibility certificate will be in that particular session, particular area.
Yeah, so that's an important point. Many times these mails, because the board sends bulk messages, the email platforms recognize it as spam and the messages land up in spam folder. So don't forget to check your spam folder. So what do you suggest? Like if the student has not received eligibility certificate, what is the best thing to do now? Just wait for the board to give it to them over time, or carry on with anxiety?
Yes, sir. Generally, they are also working on the process. So there is nothing much to worry and panic about it. Rather than panic about or worry about the eligibility certificate, it will be much better if they focus their this precious time on the preparation of the exam. Because anyway, you have done your part, you have submitted your applications. It's their job now to send your eligibility certificate. Even if you are going to mail them every day, they will take their own time. There is no point of contacting them again and again and wasting your time for the preparation. Just leave that on them. Sooner or later, you are going to get your eligibility certificate.
Okay, so what Jigar says, Jigar has gone through the process and he has also guided students on the process. So what he says is that it's not the time for you to bother too much about the EC certificate. Just concentrate on your exam preparation and hopefully sooner you will get your EC certificate, right? Keep the exam in your mind and not the EC certificate. That's a simple solution. Okay, so there's one more query coming from Vishuddh Sangani. So Vishuddh says in application form is asking whether passport address and the permanent or temporary address should be same. Is it necessary for us to maintain the address in the application form as same in the passport or the permanent or temporary address?
It depends. Let's say, for example, your passport address is different from the where currently you are living. So it might differ. So, but make sure you have both address proof, because in the end, when you go to collect your pass certificate at Delhi, at that time they might ask you like, what is the basis or what is the proof for the address you have mentioned in the form. So always carry a proof. Like for example, you mention address that is different from the passport. So bring something as a proof of resident.
Yeah, the other thing I would suggest is that if there is no window for you to edit your application form, and if you've already submitted other address, what else you can do is if you have a proof of that address, you can update that address in one of the accepted documents, like for example, your bank passbook or your Aadhaar card or your voter card. If you update that address, then you will always have a strong proof of your new updated address. In the worst case scenario, if that's also not feasible, what I would still recommend is that you can go to a notary who is an expert lawyer and get an affidavit done saying that that was your previous residence and this is your updated address. Most cases, government offices do accept the affidavit which has been notarized as a proof of address. If you have some additional backup, like in the sense your electricity bill or something is there to substantiate your proof of address. Okay, so folks, any other queries? We are open to queries related to application process. Apart from that, see, Jigar has gone through the FMGE exam process. So other queries you have, that also you can shoot to Jigar. He will be able to help you out. So far we have addressed two queries. Number one, the EC certificate, which as Jigar says, should not be the thought in your mind as of now. If you have done the process, if you have submitted all the required documents, then just wait for the respective authorities to release your EC certificate and just keep checking your spam folder in the email, because many a times it might land in the spam folder. Other than that, you know the exam date, so just keep the exam in your focus and keep preparing for the exam. In due course, you will receive your EC certificate. Second query that we have addressed is if the address is different in your passport or other legal documents and in your application form. One suggestion we had is that have a substantial proof for your address, or you can update your address itself in your legal documents. Okay, so there is one more query coming from one of the student. Sir, most common cause that our EC is pending is eligibility certificate details tab. What we have to put yes or no if we are going to do. Okay, Jigar, can you go through the text and address that to the student?
Yes, sir. So definitely you have to put yes in the pending section, because you don't have your EC, right? So whatever is your status of eligibility certificate, please follow that only while filling up the application form.
Okay, so if your EC certificate is pending, you can put it as pending. If you have it in your hand, you can say it is not pending. Okay, so Jigar,
sir, I have noticed most of the times at this National Board of Examination, NB will give you certain extensions. For example, they are unable to issue all the eligibility certificate till certain date. For example, let's say the last date of filling up the form is 13th of the December. Right. If before that, if the students are not getting their eligibility certificate, they will extend the date of form filling.
Okay.
So each and every student get a chance to fill up the form. And sometimes, like let's say, for example, you are not getting your eligibility certificate. So you can do a simple thing. Just get one blank A4 sheet of paper. Just write on that sheet, my eligibility certificate is already applied or it is pending. That's it. On that A4 sheet, and take a photo, make it PDF in that particular section in the form filling. Add this PDF. So at least your form application will be completed, right? Without eligibility certificate, I don't think so you will be able to fill up the form completely. So do this thing. Most of the student does this thing. If your eligibility certificate is not with you, just bring one white plain A4 sheet of paper, write in a capital letter, I have applied for my eligibility certificate. It is in process. That's it. You upload that particular photo as a PDF or whatever the format they are asking it. And later on, once you get the editing window, right? In that particular editing window, you will be able to replace it with your original eligibility certificate.
Okay, so students, let me summarize it again. So what Jigar says is that if you don't have a EC certificate and you need to upload something in the EC certificate place, then you can take an A4 sheet, write in a very legible, bold handwriting, or maybe you can type it also, saying that you have applied for EC and you haven't received it or it is pending. And then convert that document into a PDF and you can upload that PDF. Once the editing window is open, and by that time, if you have your EC, then you can replace this PDF that you have loaded, saying that you have applied and it is pending. You can replace that with the original EC certificate PDF. So this way you will be able to submit your form. At the same time, once you have the original EC, you will be able to replace what you had loaded. Yeah. So any more queries, guys? So I think, Jigar, you have given a very simple solution, because I have been getting a lot of queries from students saying that, sir, what should I do? I don't have a EC certificate. What should I do with the form filling? That was going on as a serious anxiety in many students' mind. I know some of the students were not even studying for last couple of days because they were stuck with this EC certificate. So this is a simple
this solution is
and
suggested by my many seniors also, because I have been through the same process. I think almost more than 80% of the FMG student pass through same situation every time. Let's say when it is your first attempt, this thing will be always bothering your mind. So over the past many years, our seniors have told us this, and I have also done this. Even my juniors have done this. So this is the simplest way. You can fill up your form, just prepare for the exam. Once you get your EC, by that time NBE will mail you. Once the editing window starts, whatever the deficient things are, let's say for example, let's forget about EC. If your signature is not proper, your photo is not proper in a white background, so they might ask you to re-upload the file or the photo or signature. So those in those scenarios you have time. So whatever you can do now, just upload those documents, and on the basic file, if they are not proper, they will reach out to you. Just try to check your email box again and again. Like let's say for example, every couple of days you check your email if there is any mail from NB, and sometimes they release one PDF. In that PDF, they will mention your registration number, or particularly form number, and whatever things are missing, they will put a check box. Like if your thumbprint is not okay, they will put check in front of that. If your signature is not okay, they will put check on that. That particular thing you have to rectify in your deficient this editing window period.
Okay, so Pradeep Shelke is asking, sir, I have put my right thumb impression. What do I need to do?
In that case scenario, nothing need to be worried about. Just leave it as it is. In editing window, if you are able to, if you are able to replace it, then do it. If you are not able to, or if let's say for example, NB already approves your right thumb impression, in that case, nothing need to be done. Just leave it as it is. And when you go to collect a pass certificate in Delhi, at that time, you make sure you give your right thumb impressions. That's it. And good question. I would like to add one point, particularly in that domain. When you go to collect your pass certificate, most of the students, especially the females, they might have some henna or something on their hand. They will face the issue while collecting the certificate because their thumbprint won't be matching at that time. So all the all the juniors, it will be a sincere advice to all of you: avoid putting anything in your hand, particularly during when you go to collect a pass certificate, because that might create a issue.
Okay, so that's a very important point, because once you're done with your exam, you will be in a very free mindset, time to experiment with ourselves, trying to groom ourselves. So you may end up putting henna or like other art forms on your hands, but that may impair your, like it might create issues when you're collecting the certificate. So good. Yes, so avoid doing that till you have your certificate in your hand. After that, well, you can groom the way you want. Okay, so there's one more query coming from new office. Sir, even if we do yes or no, still there will be option for uploading EC NEET result. So we have to keep yes or no. Jigar, you're able to understand the query? You can address it.
No, sir, it is a bit of a kind of a Jagran thing. I am unable to understand the particular question. Can you please? Yes, sir.
Yeah, new office, can you reframe your sentence? What is the exact confusion you have? So once the new office reframes his query, we will address it. Meanwhile, other students, if you have any other queries, do shoot it. We are open to address it. So those who are joining up new now, let me tell you what we have addressed so far. The first thing we addressed was about the eligibility certificate, and many students had this query that I have not received EC. What should I do while filling the form? So Jigar suggested that the simplest solution is take a A4 size sheet, on that type or write that the EC certificate has been applied and it is pending, and convert that into a PDF, and you can load this PDF in the place where they're asking for the EC. And later, once you have your original EC, during the editing window, you can replace this PDF that you had loaded with the original EC PDF. That's a simple solution, right? Okay. Then one more query that we have addressed is that if there are issues with your permanent and temporary address, or you don't have a backup to substantiate the address that you have entered in the form filling, should not be a major concern. Once you go to the NBE for collection of the pass certificate, by the time you can create a supportive evidence in the form of, like, for your address. For example, you can do an affidavit with a notary saying that you reside in that particular location, and if you have an electricity bill or a gas connection bill, that might suffice. Or else you can update your legal documents like your Aadhaar or bank passbook with a newer address that you've filled in the application form, and that should be good enough for you to go. Okay, third, there were some queries about the thumb impression, which, as Jigar suggested, probably right now you don't need to worry much about it. While you go to collect the pass certificate, they might ask you to go ahead with the thumb impression. There you can communicate them that whatever that has been loaded to the NBE website during the form filling was not of the right appropriate thumb. It is of the like right thumb instead of the other. That shouldn't be a big issue. Okay, so guys, if you have any other queries, do let us know. Not just related to form filling, because Jigar has gone through the experience of preparing for FMGE, and then he has cracked that FMGE exam. So he knows the ups and downs of preparing for an FMGE exam. So any other queries related to preparation, last time stress, he is here to address them.
Yes, sir.
So meanwhile, when students shoot up their queries, right? So Jigar, I have a question. Okay, so
yes, sir.
Now that the exam is hardly around 25 days around, so what should be the student strategy? Should they revise what they have studied so far, or do you think that they should concentrate on some quick revision solutions, or just stick to PYQs? As a student, what's your take?
Yes, sir. So there are multiple things that can be done, but the ideal thing would be, what have you done so far? Just stick to that. Don't go or don't run into FOMO. Like you are not going to miss out anything. Every platform or whatever your resources is, just stick to it, because there might be some new things coming up. But examiner have already prepared your exam long back. He's not going to prepare your question paper based on those videos. So don't run into FOMOs. What have you ever done? What have you have been taught to your med school? If you have your own notes, which have you prepared so far, just stick to it. Don't scroll through those random PDFs on Telegram and those random QBank, random videos on YouTube. Just try to avoid it. Stick to your preparation, whatever timetable you have created, and try to solve as much questions as you can. Because in the end, you might feel bored. Particularly, let's say, for example, me. I don't like revising notes again and again. So what I used to do, I will rather solve a custom module. A question like, let's say, for example, whatever subjects you want to revise, just put those questions, and that way it will be a better, efficient revision.
Yeah, so see, students, I think this is a very, very important point, that you should not have a FOMO. Till today, right, there is no student who has scored 100% marks in any of the medical related subjects or medical related exams, be it your final profs, NEET PG, FMGE, INI, CT, NEET super specialty. None of the medical exam students have ever scored 100%. Students have not even scored 90%, right? 80% puts you in a single digit rank. So in such a case, right, even someone who is aiming for a single digit rank is not able to answer everything. So why should we try to know everything and answer everything? Best thing would be that whatever we know, we should come out of the examination hall not doing mistakes on things that we know. Because you generally, students lose around 20% marks only because they commit mistakes in the examination hall, and they realize that, oh shit, I shouldn't have done that once they come out. Because like, oh, I knew this answer, but still I ended up with wrong answer. You can minimize these mistakes by revising what you know, and then realize that, oh shit, I shouldn't have done that once they come out. Because like, oh, I knew this answer, but still I ended up with wrong answer. You can minimize these mistakes by revising what you know, and then realize that, oh shit, I shouldn't have done that once they come out. Because like, oh, I knew this answer, but still I ended up with wrong answer. rather than trying to assimilate new information. No doubt there will be some questions on latest updates, but they are negligible. You don't need to run behind them. Like, okay, there may be 4 or 5 questions from the recent updates. They're not at all important. There are still 95% questions which are from the solid basic background, right? Concentrate on them. Okay. So there is one Raj Patel putting out a query. How many grand tests would you suggest to give before writing the exam? So Jigar, as a student, what is your take on this?
Sir, grant test, as I always tell to my juniors, it is not there to tell whatever score you are going to get in an exam. It is just the tool to enhance your preparation. So don't take GTs as a testing tool. Take the GTs as a enhancing your knowledge. So give grant test as much as you can. There is no ideal number that I can put, but if you can give, like let's say for example, there is a hardly 1 month left, try to give at least 3 or 4 GTs if you can. But if you are lacking behind your preparation, if you still have to revise some of the subjects, then focus more on that.
Yeah,
And
so
if
yeah,
you,
so
yes,
Jigar,
sir,
it's a
that's
very, very important point you said. Don't use, at least now when the exam is just around the corner, don't use GTs as a tool for understanding where do you stand. GTs now cannot decide where do you stand. Even now, remaining 25 days, if you prepare consistently, you still have a very good chance, even if today's GT that you gave is terrible in terms of score. Remaining 25 days, consistent hard work will put you far ahead of someone who has done way ahead of you in today's GT, right? So don't use GT as a tool to assess where do you stand. Rather, use GT. What I personally suggest is that use GTs as a tool for identifying the human behavioral mistakes that we do. For example, like, okay, I will write all the answers. After that, I might have marked some questions for review. I will go back and then overthink on those questions, shuffle the answers and come out. And when I come out, then I will realize that, oh, my first marked answer was correct. And then I change it to a wrong answer. These are all behavioral issues. Second, sometimes in a hurry, we ignore a very catching, crucial point in the question, like long clinical questions. Some point we ignore and then we end up answering. Like the moment I see question, oh, this is a familiar question, we jump to answer, then we realize that there was a catch point in the question. So these mistakes will be minimized when you take grand test because you already gone through those mistakes. So in the real exam, you will avoid doing those mistakes. So use it as a tool to enhance your knowledge, use it as a tool to get used to the exam process and not as a tool to understand where you stand. Okay. So new office has reframed his query. Sir, they are asking that you have EC or not. We mark yes, then at the end, they ask for uploading the EC or NEET result. If you mark no, even though they will ask for upload EC NEET result because our EC is under process. So what do you think?
so. Yes, sir. In that same in this scenario also, as I suggested in the starting part also, you can do just simple thing. Just bring one A4 sheet of paper. Just write that my EC is under process. That's it, and just submit that as a proof.
Okay. So see,
And if they are
what I would
asking for
suggest
your
is,
NEET result, if they are asking for your NEET result, I guess they are asking for NEET UG because anyway you are not able to appear for NEET PG without FMG. So if you do have your NEET UG result, you can upload that also in that scenario.
no, I think some students probably don't have the NEET UG result because they went ahead with the FMG, with the foreign
Yes,
medical
sir.
university without the NEET UG. So what should they do if they're asking for NEET UG result?
Sir, I don't think so. They will be asking particularly about NEET UG. Eligibility certificate is their main criteria. If
Okay.
you can just upload that as we suggested, just bring one sheet of paper and write simply. That's it.
Okay, so new office, if you don't have a EC now, then you can opt for no EC. And then still, as you say, they're going to ask you for uploading. In that case, take a white sheet, write you have applied and you are not received or it is pending, and convert it into a PDF and load it there and your form will be submitted. Okay, so Tushar is asking, sir, what name we have to put in form as sequence of name in degree is surname first and then name. So we should write in that way or other. Yeah,
In
see,
that
this is one common
scenario,
problem in
yes.
India because the way we address names, right? Like some places there is surname first and then name after that. In some places, name first and surname after that. Some places, name and surname converted into a single letter, but in some documents, it will be a full form. So if that is an issue, what should we do?
Sir, I will suggest in that scenario, just stick to your original documents, whatever that apostille bunch you get from your college, whatever is mentioned in your college degrees, just stick to that. Because sometimes that will be the proof when they check everything. When you go to collect your passing certificate in Delhi, they will ask for your original documents. So you have to submit your degree certificate, your all 4 years MBBS pass certificate, whatever is mentioned in that setup, your certificates, just same you have to fill it up in the form.
Okay,
Same
so
manner.
yeah, Akash, I guess that addressed, Tushar, I guess that addressed your query. Akash, I will take it up. There's one more query coming from Abhishek Sharma. Sir, can we change our centers after filling the form?
No, that won't be possible. Once you fill it up your center, now NB has to decide whether they will be giving you the same center, or in some scenario, if the center is fully booked, they might allocate you the nearest. That is a decision is not in your hand. It is in NB.
Okay, so Tushar, Jigar, is there any option like when we enter the centers, right? Do they ask nowadays what is your first preference, second preference, third preference, or they give us only one choice?
Sir, most of the times they give one choice only.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
There's one more query coming from Akash. Okay, not related to form filling, but well, it also needs to be addressed. So Akash says that pharma is creating low confidence and medicine is demotivating while solving questions. So what do you suggest? Okay, so Jigar, as a student, what do you
Sir,
suggest?
I think you will be better just to address this query.
Okay, so guys, see, if you are weak in one or two subjects, that is nothing to lose heart about because that will not decide your fate. If you're good with other subjects, right? Right now, what I would suggest is make a short list of important topics from pharma and medicine and only stick to that. You don't need to be the master of medicine to pass your FMG exam. You don't need to be master of pharmacology to pass your FMG exam, right? Like, see, today, if I appear for FMG exam, I will come out with only the marks from medicine, maybe a little bit of physiology and pharmacology. I will not clear it because I don't know the other subjects, right? At the same time, most of the students will outscore me because they know every like little bit about every subject. So if you know little bit about remaining 17 subjects, if your pharma and medicine is weak, should not be a big deal, right? Like logically speaking, you will still be able to answer one third of medicine questions with whatever little bit you know. And if you shortlist the high yield topics and concentrate on them for 1 or 2 days only, then you will be able to reach 40% of the questions from medicine. And that should be a good number, right? On your weak subject. And same applies to pharmacology, right? There are some topics which they keep asking repeatedly. For example, the generation of cephalosporins, there are a lot of simple mnemonics available for you to remember, right? Pharmacotherapy of Parkinson disease, side effects of drugs, H. pylori treatment. So you can make a short list of maybe some 20 topics from pharmacology, 10, 15 topics. Like, see, ABG is one topic which every alternate FMG exam, there may be one simple question asking you to identify metabolic acidosis है या respiratory है, acidosis है या alkalosis है, those kind of questions. That will take 15 minutes for you to learn ABG. There will be JVP had been a repeatedly asked template. You consider it physiology or medicine, it is a template from which repeatedly questions come. You just make a short list of some 10, 15 medicine topics, 10, 15 pharmacology topics and restrict to that. Ignore rest of the medicine, ignore rest of the pharmacology. If you are good with other subjects, you will still do well. So concentrate on your strengths. Okay. So
Agree,
guys,
sir.
any other
As you
queries?
said, yes.
Yeah, Jigar, yeah, add to your points.
Yes, sir. As you mentioned very nicely, like rather than being of be a jack of all trades rather than
Yeah.
being a master of none. Because one subject is not going to decide your pass or fail. In FMG, 19 subjects are there, and nowadays the exam pattern is overlapping. If you don't know pharma completely, still you might be able to answer the question based on your medicine knowledge or surgery knowledge, or let's say pediatrics knowledge. So don't worry about particularly one subject. If you are weak in that subject, just as sir suggested, just do the important topics like which are frequently getting asked. Just do those. Remaining, you leave it, and whichever your strength is, whichever subjects you are like very comfortable, just do those subjects.
Yeah, see, just to like re-endorse what I said. So when I gave my PG exam, like the medicine PG exam, I had done only 60% of the systems, right? So I wrote theory and I attended practical exams with only 60% of the systems, but I was good with them. So I could easily sail through my theory as well as practicals. So I did not require to know all the systems in medicine, even for my PG exam. So forget about for your FMGE exam. If you know a little bit and you just add important topics, that's good enough for us to go. See, on your weak subject, if you get 35 to 40% questions correct, that's great. Because there are good subjects for you where you may be able to get 60% questions correct, that too when there is no negative marking. So see, ultimately keep in mind, your FMGE score is not going to be used for anything. All you need is to get that 150, right? 150 ke upar, whether you get 200, 250 or go to 290 makes no difference. So don't get so stressed that the remaining days you waste behind the anxiety. Just stay focused. Goal is, keep in mind, goal is 150. जो स्कोर की बात आएगी ना, तो तब आएगी जब when you get a pass certificate and when you start looking at NEET PG, only then you should start thinking about score. Right now, only 150. That's the goal. Goal is not to go to 160 also. Even if you get 151, you are the win, right? So don't have that anxiety that, okay, my one particular subject is weak or good. You will do well if your other subjects are good. Okay, so I think we have addressed all the queries coming up from the students. So students will take a leave now. If there are any pending queries, you can get to us on the PW Meded Telegram group. So please shoot the queries on the Telegram group. Jigar would be there, I would be there, and there is an esteemed list of 19 faculty members and other admin experts who have dealt with the administrative processes. We will help you out in whatever form that is possible from us. Thank you, Jigar, for this
Thank you, sir.
supportive venture to students. I hope
Yes.
it was helpful for the students. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
So we'll sign off, guys. We will be in touch through the Telegram. Thank you. Thank you.
Best of luck to all of you.
Yeah, best of luck, guys. Stay focused. You will do well.
Thank you.